There is an old saying that goes, "Home is where the heart is." But what if the heart belongs to the rivers? Waters that, from an aerial view, slither across the lands like serpents. And what if the heart belongs to the very soil we walk upon each day? Forests, plains, jungles. What if our hearts belong to Mother Earth herself, no matter where we venture? In this story, we will follow the nomadic life of the Concavenator and all the encounters, troubles and adventures life will bring them. These two are young adult females. Non-related, the two found each other by coincidence. Concavenator prefer to live in groups. Seeing two females in nothing more than a duo is considered a rarity. But being young and fairly unknown to the world that lies ahead, it seems like these females aren't ready to settle for the family life just yet. The curious mind is too persistent, and their curiosity led them straight to the breeding territory of two giant duck-like creatures, the Dinocyrus. Unwise to even try, both females sneak closer. Pretending to just need water, the Concavenators analyze the giants across the lake. The Dinocyrus are docile for now. If the Concavenators behave calm, surely conflict should be avoided. But out of nowhere, a young and cheeky juvenile Torvosaurus calls out, pretending to own the lake. This is enough to set the Dinocyrus off, and as fast as the little Torvosaurus appeared to shake things up, he disappears back into the forest, leaving the innocent Concavenators directly exposed to two angry giants. Very clearly now, it is time to go. This lake and its inhabitants aren't welcoming, nor is it the right choice to settle for food and relaxation. Nomadic as the Concavenators are, they will find another spot. A little later that day, the two found a nice spot in the middle of a dense forest. The smell of a critter hidden underground lured them in. As the first rays of sunlight begin to appear, it becomes clear that this idyllic spot, though lacking water, is far more welcoming. Concavenator will eat meat, fish and shells. Usually, when nesting and caring for offspring, the parents and adults will eat fish while the young feast on fresh meat. Since the females are free of such obligations just yet, they themselves decide what's on the menu. The sun is slowly lowering towards the horizon. It is a gorgeous, calm and warm afternoon. The females found water, a nice and inviting river, hopefully teeming with fish to provide another feast. And as the Hatzegopteryx flies out of sight, both females move closer to the water's edge. Time to catch some fish. But getting a hold of these slippery swimmers isn't as easy as it sounds. Practice makes perfect. The two spend a while fishing, resting and regaining their stamina. After all, trying to catch a meal for yourself seems to be way harder than expected. It is a new day. A stunning blue sky, with a few characteristic white clouds, provide an uplifting start to this early morning. And it seems like it is not just the concavenators that are enjoying this early, fresh start to the day. A full-grown Amargasaurus bull. Completely unimpressed by the concavenators, this impressive male seems to simply want to say hello. The females, however, know better than to get too close. The red pattern on the back of this bull indicate that he is an elder, probably father to many offspring. Males this age and size usually roam alone until it is mating season. Bulls will fight each other, sometimes even till death. But on this very morning, this bull simply enjoys the morning sun. A few hours have gone by. The sun is now cloaked behind a thin veil of mist. The females move into Green Valley, and a green valley it is indeed. A little compy keeps a close eye on the concavenators, squeaking and jumping up and down. But this is not the only sound that grasps the attention of the females. It almost sounds like thunder rumbling, but on Earth. It is a majestic herd of Albertoceratops. Fiercely aggressive, the males stand firm on the front line of the herd, protecting the females and young. For our concavenators, this is not what you would want to run into. But again, curiosity wins. And from this height, standing on this hill, the females feel brave enough to taunt the herd a little. It is evening, with the night not far away. But this evening feels different than others. Something feels off. In a strange way, it seems like the ambient sounds of nature have been muted. There is a strange vibe lingering within these stone walls. Even the water has gone quiet. Our females are not the only creatures that have chosen this spot to spend the night. It doesn't take long for them to pick up the sound of footsteps. One female dives into the lake. The other remains on land, scanning across the waters. There he is, on top of what seems to be his stone fortress. A male concavenator, and he is in his absolute prime. The females are faced with a difficult decision: to flee or to fight. Concavenators are hostile towards other concavenators, and this encounter being no exception, they decide to track down the male, feeling confident in the upcoming standoff, as it is 2 against 1. Having crossed the water, the females stand face to face with the male. Within seconds, both parties scan each other for weaknesses. As the last golden rays of the evening sun cast light on the male, it becomes clear that this aggressive demeanor is about to make a dramatic shift. The male appears to be much older, much more experienced, and way more confident. And with that, interesting enough for the females to back off and look at this male from a different perspective. The male performs dangerous behavior. He sits down. Right now, he is highly vulnerable, but he does so to show the females that he is no threat. This is crucial behavior in trying to connect to the 2 females. And it seems like it's working. And just like that, a new day starts off with a new family, an actual pack. Led by the newly accepted male, the now 3 concavenators move off into the birchwoods. Despite the dry season, this morning feels rather chilly, as the last remains of dew linger on the foliage. And for the females, their first obligation arises. They will have to hunt for the male. Not always, but usually, the male will instruct his females to grab him dinner. In return, he will protect them. Fair trade-off, right? A little while later, the 3 arrive at water once again. Shells are being munched on by one of the females. The male, however, is much more fond of fresh, tasty meat. Moving forward, his focus is simply to find another den. And you best believe he'll put his females to the job. Yep, there he goes again. This time, it is the other female that will do the hunting. With the night knocking on their doorstep, it is time to find a nice hideaway to sleep in. Concavenators prefer dens, holes or burrows. And that is exactly what the male has found. The females are content and happy to be well taken care of. The male makes a few laps around the den and approves of it. Sleep well, our nomadic Trinity. Warmth, heat, hot stones burning under their feet. The dry season is piercing today. Even in this early morning, temperatures are already rising high. Luckily for Concavenator, swimming and water belong to their identity. After a good night's rest, it is time to rehydrate and eat. The females clearly improved their fishing skills. It now costs less effort, but delivers more food. And as nomads of the prehistoric, the three will continue to move around. This is simply in their nature. The three moved back to the green hills. This is where the females met the Amagasaur. It seems like this region offers new encounters every time they move through. A family of Uteranus, a male, female, and their offspring. Uteranus are skilled hunters, but hunting is not on their minds right now. For the adults, the Concavenators form no threat. For hatchlings and juveniles, however, Concavenator is a serious threat, and if given the chance, they will try to snatch one up for their next meal. In a hopeful gesture, the male crouches down, trying to be sneaky and stealthy. But it is already very clear that the chances of a successful hunt, or a hunt in general, are at absolute zero when it comes to the Uteranus. A little defeated, the three keep on moving over the hills. Perhaps there will be another shot at food. However, the only creature close to them is this male Psittacosaurus. Too fast, too cheeky, and way too little meat on its bones. The Concavenator trio will need to move more inland in hopes of a possible feast. And moving more inland, they did. This biome is something fairly unknown to them. Concavenator prefer water close by, but this region has anything but that. Hunger can be persistent, and if there's no food in known spots, one must venture beyond. The females run into something they have never experienced before. Meals on wheels. A walking buffet? Did this juvenile Deinocheirus seriously just walk up to them? Hit with some serious confusion, their hunting instinct seems to be totally shut down. Prey has never walked up to them before, and therefore the Concavenator simply don't know what to do with this strange situation. For now, the three seem to accept it. With their instincts totally shattered, focus seems to be minimal, as they almost run face first into this adult Daspletosaurus. Oopsie? The Concavenator move forward in hopes of finding prey that doesn't act so strange. Finally, water. One of the females doesn't even hesitate as she dives right in. This seems to be an hopeless attempt to try and get rid of the young Deinocheirus. Unfortunately for her, Deinocheirus is a great swimmer as well. As dusk slowly settles in, the Concavenator decide to just make a run for it. After all, they are much faster. Way past their bedtime, the three follow a pathway leading up into the mountains, hoping to find a safe resting spot for the night. But what seemed to be just a giant rock in the distance turns out to be a sleeping giant, unhappy to be disturbed. Still somewhat in a dream, this Giganotosaurus wasn't expecting any visitors. After a quick exchange of calls, both the giant and the little ones go on about their business. Time to catch a few hours of sleep before the moon moves herself behind the towering mountains, and the sun rises up for a new day. A fresh breeze rolls over the land, finally. The heat seems more manageable today. This wide river, located in the heart of this region, will provide refreshment and hopefully a good breakfast. Across the water, a Rhamphorhynchus is keeping a close eye on the pack. This little bird-like creature thrives in this area. The wind's currents are strong here, bouncing off of the lands onto the water surface. This means that flying will cost him less energy, as he can simply float along. This little Ramphy won't be targeted as prey by the Concavenators. Instead, the three are showing signs of interest and playfulness towards the tiny flyer. And the little flyer seems just as curious about them as well. The Concavenators display interesting body language. Shaking, stretching and soft calls show that they truly mean no harm. The little Ramphy, however, still is wise to stay out of their reach. Clever choice to take a rest upon that rock, little buddy. With about an hour of daylight left, the male decides to call it an early night. The females, however, don't seem to agree with this plan of attack. One of the females lays down for a little moment before the other female calls her over. Why rest when you can go out and explore? Being much younger than the male, it seems like their youthful curiosity is still very much present. It almost looks like two teenagers sneaking out of their bedrooms. If the male would have been awake, he would have never allowed this. So while he's sleeping, the females take their chances. Go left, go right, straight ahead. The possibilities seem endless. If only they knew what they would be walking into in just a little while. This adventure might be a little bit more than they bargained for. There is Xenosaurus, a male and a female. And the curiosity of the Concavenators led them straight into the lion's den, a whole flock, chicks and all. With giant claws and a formidable size and stature, these Therizinosaur have little to be afraid of. For Concavenator, this is a battle that would finish before it even starts. As tempting as it may be to try and snatch an egg or two, the females know better than to even try. They can, however, play around a bit and taunt the flock from a safe distance. With their egos rising towards the sky, the females go for it. Let's be a true nuisance. We check in with the Concavenator pack a few days later. The ongoing heat has taken its toll on the region here. Apart from a few bushes, most of the foliage has been totally scorched. This doesn't bother the three. For them, this spot is merely a temporary recharge zone. Fish, water and refreshment. Perfect. Thalassodromius, a skittish flyer, easily spooked and chased away. For this creature, drought and heat mean just as little as for the Concavenator. Impossible to catch the flyer, the Concavenator turned to cones and shells. Later that day, flyers and shells belong to a distant, unimportant memory. One of the females is executing a very important task, luring. But what exactly is being lured in? It seems to be behind those rocks. A Pycnonemosaurus, carrying out a warning. Pycnos are extremely fast and known for their ramming headbutts. One of these carnivores against 3 Concavenators is already quite the challenge. However, this male Pycno seems to have company, and apparently our Concavenator trio wasn't expecting another one. Tailed by both of them, one of the females dashes towards the river. This is her only escape. As it is his duty's calling, the male Concavenator doesn't hesitate. With a ripping kick, he darts forward, landing a direct blow on the opponent. Battered and bruised, the Concavenator quickly swim off. They were lucky to have survived this attack. Life can be harsh, but forgiving as well. Home awaits them, as they have been granted another chance at life.